Hello, brother.
Yes, brother.
Well, that's great, isn't it? That sounds like we've got a little plan there.
Yeah, it is. It has actually been good. About there's something I wanted to clarify before we can continue with this.
Yeah.
The other idea about the whole group concerting together just by voice and see rising up their hand, and then I get their list. So should I just have to scan the list, send it, or after getting their list, I can do the entry myself here, or I should forward it over there? What was there?
Well, I mean, it depends on your time as well to a certain degree, because if you're doing, depending on how that goes, you might find that there's opportunities to do a few of those in a short space of time, and you could have hundreds and hundreds of names, and that's going to take up a lot of time for you to individually to do all of those. So, of course, yeah, whatever you can manage yourself is great. But I would say that obviously, if there is a lot of names, then this is where we can come together as GPMS, and we can actually just distribute some of those sheets of names to others, so that you don't have to do all of that, because otherwise it's going to be too much work for you. It may get to a point where it's even too much for all of us combined. But actually, the key is that we will find people within those groups as you're connecting and as they're connecting other people that also have devices that can also help with that administration as we obviously are collecting the voice. The most important thing is the authenticity of it, so that we do actually have their names and details, obviously, which we can't upload until we've actually got their video file or whatever. Obviously, if we do it on a group basis, then that's where obviously you, for example, is with that group, already given them the decree to read through, they already understand what they're agreeing to. It would be great to be able to do more of a presentation to them, because like you say, they're not necessarily fully understanding it until they've actually watched stuff on YouTube, or they've seen and spoken to me and Rick or Dean or yourself in a bit more detail about that. But fundamentally, it's simple. What they're agreeing to is this choice to create abundance and for the full freedoms that obviously is contained within GPMS. So if they're happy with that, the other stuff that we normally elaborate on, which is like, how we're going to implement, I think that's probably the way to do it, is just keep it as simple as possible initially. Then we can also encourage them to learn more, again, where possible, whether that's with you and our leaders that are forming in Uganda, then also being able to give them the transcripts to read through. So you could print off, one or two transcripts with people and say, look, can you, if there's like for example, if there's a town hall or a church, you could leave the transcript in that building, so that you don't have to keep on printing it off, and that people can then read and learn more about it in their own time. They can visit the church or visit that local hall just to read more about it, so that they can understand it more. And that would be quite a uniform way of doing it, which kind of manages time and also printing of paper and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yes, that is quite beautiful. Now, there is a strategy. I've actually liked this of the whole group coming together and see. It is going to simplify work, because here I have opportunities to say I meet some good number of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what has been challenging to me is how can I get to that person? Every person, I'm having around 200 people. So how can I get to every person to see this person can consent? But it may be quite at least somehow simple that after getting the list and you've gotten the video of all of them consenting at once, then you can do the entry, maybe even chat to other people, do the entry, but getting to every person, others are doing some of the work and making them stand and making them stay there, finish one by one. So it has been quite difficult, but this is going to simplify work. Yeah. Now, what I would suggest and request to you, there is one of the transcript that you sent me, which
Yes.
actually has simplified benefits of GPMS.
Yes.
Which talks about the students having free education, which talks about the government taking care of everything, which talks about educating money. So I would request, if you get time, you help me make a very clear video, and you basically speak about the benefits. See,
Yeah.
what exactly will be eliminated, what good thing is going to be there. Like, just you give me like a list of all the other things that were listed down. You
Sure.
speak about what GPMS is going to bring. Like, if you tell them that if this is in place and if they get consent to this, This is the benefit of how this is going to be. You talk about there will be no paying school fees, there will be no paying tax. So you make a very clear video. I want to have that video because I'm now going to start meeting people in a crowd.
Yeah.
So I want to get someone to help me with a laptop. I can use that clear video which has exactly the benefits that he is speaking about. He is speaking about not paying school fees, and speaking about the government caring for everything, speaking about how life is going to be, basically on that. So I want to have that video whenever I'm going to meet people. I can put on a laptop, I make that video play, and then I speak after that video has been seen.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, that's really simple to do for one, because a lot of, I mean, obviously I transcribed it from Rick's video, but really what he's actually going through is the part of the website on GPMS, which is the old versus the new. So actually, just by going through that list, article by article, saying this is what you have now, this is what we'll have in the future. And also, when we're talking about this, we don't say if, we say when, because it is going to happen. There is no doubt with what we're doing here. This is what we are creating, and this is what everyone wants. So always say, when we bring this in, this is the world that everyone's going to be able to enjoy because they want it. Everybody wants to not have to pay taxes. Everybody wants to not have debts. Everybody wants to have their home for free. Everybody wants to not have to pay for energy. Everybody wants to not have to worry about insurance. Everybody wants to have, you see what I mean? And then, and so this is the choice that we have, is to create all of this for everyone. And then it's after we go through that, though, we maybe need to have another short video that just quickly explains how this is possible, because obviously that's where the questions will arise in their mind. They're saying, okay, we're going to have this, we're going to have that, we're going to have that, but how are we going to have that? The government, how are they going to do that? Yeah, and that's where we have to say, look, no.
That is those are questions I'm receiving, people, just like the way you're saying. Exactly. After speaking to them, after that is the question they ask: how is it going to happen?
How is it going?
How is it possible? Yeah, how is it possible that every government will print its own money? Yeah. How is it possible? How is it possible that people will get this amount?
Well, what they have to, what they have to understand is actually it's not the government that's doing this; it's us that's doing it. So, firstly, we collect the voice of the people that agree to it. And then from that, we empower everyone, because the people obviously want this. And so actually we're already doing this, but we're doing it under the employment, if you like, of the government. But instead, what we're doing is we're having like a shareholders meeting of the people worldwide to say, we don't actually want this government in power anymore, because they're not doing what we want them to do. They're not doing as they're paid to do, to look after us. So what we're doing now is we're removing them from obviously the board, and it's now us, the people, that are in charge of basically delivering this. And so because the people obviously are the ones that their say goes, when you've got the majority, everybody knows the majority is what speaks, then that's how we actually deliver everything, because we can just do what the banks do. We can print money or put numbers into a screen just like the banks do, but we can do it infinitely. We don't have to limit the supply of money, which is how they do at the moment, because when they are doing it, it's to compete one country with another country in an economy like that. We're not going to have different economies per country. We have one worldwide economy because we have one worldwide people, and that's what we do. So we need to just make it kind of simple, as simple as possible for people to understand. This is the thing that people struggle with. Because one of the challenges is that although people are recognizing that the government isn't delivering, what they should be for the people, because that's what they're supposed to be employed to do, at the moment, the people don't have to self-govern, because we have an external government that does it. And whilst they're not happy with what the government's delivering, they don't need to think about or worry about everything being worked out, because the government does that stuff. But the government does it poorly. And that's why we're in the situation we're in. So obviously, the fear that people have is suddenly thinking, oh, well, we've got a responsibility. I've got a responsibility on how everything runs. Well, they don't really have any more responsibility than they do currently now. That's the illusion. That's the illusion they put a breakthrough to realize that actually all they're doing is making a choice to say, well, I'm happy to contribute and do a bit of work. I'd like to do less work, and I would like that work that I do to be easier because I've got technology that is being created for me to do it, and I don't have to work and be educated in certain areas for 10 years, 20 years, because we've now got simple systems that have been created, because it's not about making it complex. The whole complexity of the old system is deliberate, because that's how they keep the control over the people, because the people feel like you need a government to take care of everything. But actually, when we don't have a government to take care of everything, we actually are creating everything we need infinitely, then we just make everything simple. That's what we're doing with the law. We say you just don't do any harm to anyone. That's all that counts. And we don't have to have legislation like all of this other complicated stuff. The problem is, one of the challenges is that you're always going to have questions that people could have in their minds. And I'll give you an example. If we have a law that says do no harm to another, that does cover everything. But if we don't have a legislation about speeding in your car, for example, does that mean we're going to start having people driving recklessly at 100 miles an hour all the time because there's no law? Because as long as they don't run anybody over and kill anybody, that's okay. But isn't the legislation to keep people from speeding designed to prevent people from doing it so that less people die? So is that legislation actually that is in place at the moment, that is a law that isn't actually necessarily affecting people? They can be charged, they can be incriminated for speeding, even if they haven't hurt anybody. But is it actually protecting people? And I think that the truth is, the answer to that question would be, well, in a world where we can basically have an own vehicle, we have a law that says you don't do any harm to anyone else. We also have the respect that you have an individual responsibility to be sensible and not to put people at risk. If you want to go speeding and you want to drive fast, then you can go to the racetrack that we've just built down the road in your village or down in the city, which is designed for you to go and race your car. You don't have to race anywhere because you don't have to be at work at a specific time. You don't have that stress anymore, so you don't need to do it recklessly on the road. If you want to go and partake in these dangerous activities that are putting people at risk, you do it in a place where those people that are participating agree to take that risk on themselves, and they're not putting the rest of the people at risk. So that would be how I would answer that question. But it is a question that I think that some people may not ask naturally, but it will be in their subconscious. They'll be thinking, what about legislation? These are there to protect people and we need to have them. No, we don't. We need to have responsibility, and we need to have a solution that protects the people wholly. If people want to participate in a risky way, they do it in a place where other people that are at risk are only there because they choose to be there. That's their freedom. And that's the way that we answer that question. And I'm recording this. I'm recording this call, so this is quite a good video because it's actually, it's capturing that.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So now that is what you just going to help me, brother, with. You make around the 3 videos will be enough. One video explaining the benefit of this. That will be no this, that will be no this, and this will be no this, and that will be no this. And then the other next video, because this is what I'll be using when I'm meeting public. Yeah, because I personally, I may not be good enough to say I can speak about this, but when they get it from a different person, and this is in a video, and then I can just supplement on that, add on that, it will be quite simple for me, and it will be quite simple to convince them, see they can consent and make a group consenting. So you'll help me and make one video of explaining how best this is gonna be. Like this, that will be no this, that will be no this. You explain everything. Yeah. Then the other video, I requested that would be how is this gonna happen? Yeah, first and foremost, then you'll have to say the first point is to see that they consent.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, then you can help me try and find out. I'll try to see. I can send you some questions of what exactly people would ask and questions that I've been receiving. Then at least you can try to see you can get some common questions. Yeah, common questions that the public would ask. And then you can tell them, I know one of you would be having a question, such a question, that if every person has money, then won't money lose value? At least you try to see you can speak about that. Then
Yeah.
when I get to the public and I show them these videos and then videos are done, then it will be very easy for me to see I can get all of them at once.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
100%. And what we can do with that as well, when I actually record the videos and they're concise, so they're not too long, is we can transcribe those videos, and we can have that in a written format. If we have that at the same place, like instead of having the transcript necessarily that's detailed, which is longer, they have a shorter list of no, not this, not this, not this, not this, how, and legislation is not required because of this, and that's how we do it. And obviously, and it's all done through the voice of the people collectively, and that's that. So yeah, I think that's how we do it.
Yeah, that will,
And
it is
yeah,
going to help you out.
yeah, and it's key that your part in this. So well, I've got no doubt that you could obviously develop and become very good at being able to speak with this and powerfully with this yourself. But what actually works really, really well is for you to actually focus on keeping your part really simple, because your part will be the same part for other leaders. So if the other leaders who have phones and they see, oh, well, I could do what Wandera's doing easily because he doesn't need to speak much about this. He's just doing this and this and this, and he's playing this video, which I could do, and then they're showing them the transcript, which is I could do in this town hall, in this village or whatever. Then that is how it spreads outwards very, very quickly, because we're asking people to do something then they know that they can do. Whereas if everybody was trying to do what I'm doing now, it would take them months to learn everything, practice it, talk to everybody. It would take much longer. So this is how we do it quickly. For real. For real, man.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And also, like I say, if you can actually connect with people, try and find as many people as you can who do have a mobile phone, who do have YouTube, and then connect them to our YouTube channel. That is where we can actually, as Dean was saying, we can get a lot of people subscribing to that YouTube channel. We can upload videos. It might actually be better. It might, I don't know, it could be useful to them to do this with my YouTube channel, because with my YouTube channel, although I've put a lot of information and content on there recently specifically about GPMS, I do have some older videos which are a little bit about the government and the system and the corruption that's going on, which are to sort of awaken people to the reality of certain things. And so obviously I can post in that YouTube channel, I can post a bit more of a diverse content, things that aren't necessarily just GPMS, because the subscription really only works if people are constantly logging in to look at it. And of course, I'm always going to keep on putting stuff to do with GPMS in there. So we'll always have that, which will hopefully be drawing those people who are subscribing in Uganda and Africa as it grows to it. But also, if there's other videos which are interesting that people also like to see, even if they're animal videos, which people like watching animals and the beauty of them and what they do, they'll just tune in. And every time these people tune in as a subscriber to watch a video, when you've got 1 million users or 1 million subscribers or 5 million subscribers, that's when YouTube starts to pay quite a lot of money to the person that actually owns that channel. And that's where from that money we're making, I can then obviously help you out. I can help other orphanages out with some money, because we're generating it organically from everybody that's just connecting and watching the channel. And that's how we do it. Yeah. So that's what Dean was talking about, which is really cool. So yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to see I can invite people to your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So I'll be adding more content to that. I'll be adding obviously a lot of GPMS stuff. I'll add this video to that channel. Again, so that's another way that even just again, but this is where there's more supporting information on it as well, and also videos with Rick I'll put up there as well. So I'll forward some of those onto my channel so they can see Rick, they can see Dean, they can see Lee and other people. If they want to see again internationally some of the people that are joining and what the work that they're doing, they can do that. but that's only relevant obviously for those people that have devices, obviously. So, yeah, that's great. We've got a little plan there. We've got a mission now. So we just got to go
Mm.
forth and do it.
This is more, and this is awesome. It is going to work best. And then there is one thing. There is another thing, because I'm trying to see I can get all solutions to capture every person using every platform. Now I would request, if possible, you help me make just a short clip that I want to use on WhatsApp, like you speaking on my behalf, that this so and so, on behalf of this, I'd love to see. I request you people to see, you can get with him, you consent and get in support of this.
Yeah, let me
Is
share some. Let me share something with you, because I did something I think you're talking about similarly for. I can't remember his name now. It's one of your friends. Hang on, bear with me. Let me show you. Let's share this with you quickly. Hang on. Stop share. I need to share. Okay, so he's on Facebook as John Wick, but it's Balajusa. Balajusa, and I sent him this.
Yeah.
So now I'll play this here. Oh, it's actually quite a long message. I don't know if he's even used this. Well, we won't listen to the whole thing, but you can hear what I'm sort of saying. Hello everyone, my name is Denovan Truman, and I'm here in the UK doing this message on behalf of brother John Wick, for him to send on to his friends on Facebook through Messenger. This message to give you some more information about our amazing system, our new world that we're creating, called GPMS.world. And GPMS.world, it stands for the Global People's Monetary System and Simplified Divine Law. And what the system does is it shifts us and advances humanity forward out of all of the old power structures and restrictive systems that create lack and that create pain and suffering to the majority of people. The governments around the world, unfortunately, have not done what they were employed to do, and that was to look after the people. And we have not chosen to live in a world like the one that we find ourselves in right now, and to see the suffering and the pain that's needlessly going on every single day. And so what GPMS is a unity, a unifying of the people worldwide. For the very first time, it's been made possible through the internet and through this platform. It's gathering the voice, the agreements, the consents, the accords from every man, woman and child upon the planet to give their agreement to actually creating this new system. And we need... The idea is, obviously, even if you could use this one if you wish, because obviously I'm saying that it's for John Wick's friends and anybody who wants to forward it on to anybody else, basically. So there we go. Let's forward this now. And what I did as well is I forwarded him, so that's gone to you. I also forwarded him this. I forwarded in the decree, so you've got the decree there. So I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can look at your messenger, but you'll see that come in. It's 20 minutes long, so it's quite a long message. But I cover, again, a lot of the in that message. I'm covering how we're kind of implementing it, like why we're doing it, how we're able to do it. So again, covering some of those points, but again, it's probably a little bit too long. Again, I think we need to keep things as concise as possible.
Yeah, that would be quite good.
So yeah. So that's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant. That's good. Yeah.
I'm very sure. When I get all that details in place and I have them at my hand,
yeah,
that is enough for me. Yeah, that is enough for me trying this, and hopefully within a short period of time.
Yes.
The number, I think we shall be heading to the top of the list. See, we are heading the whole country to see that our number is the best.
That's awesome. So
just that the challenge I've been getting, honestly, is how do I really get to convince someone? You know, here, Africans are different. Africans are different. And not like maybe other people, I should say. It is very difficult to convince an African. So, and mostly when you are a fellow African, so we would actually raise a lot of questions. How can this be? You are here with me, so how is this gonna be? You know, how are you connecting? How is it? So they all ask a lot of questions. So it is very difficult to convince one person, to convince someone to consent. It is difficult, but when I get the information in place and at hand, yeah, I'm very sure it is going to help me a lot, and the number is going to increase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's mindset, but actually, what you're speaking about there is actually true of everywhere, and Western world. I would have thought that the Western world even more stubborn because the indoctrination is so high here. You know, the governments have done a better job. Not that they've done a good job, but they've done, in some respects, a better job in terms of there's not as much obvious lack as there is in Uganda, right? And so, you know, the people are in more fear about not having a government sort of protect them. That this is what they do with the indoctrination process and the education process is they teach children, you know, to start not believing in certain things that actually they should be allowed to believe in because it actually is empowering to believe in, you know, the impossible becoming possible. So they limit people's beliefs and they affect the mindset of what can be done and what is possible. But then what they do is they also then teach the children as we're growing up into adults that you need to have this external body, this government to protect you, to give you security because the crime is out there. And this is also all entwined with the TV and the film and the, you know, the movies where we see all of this crime going on and people getting shot and murdered. Yes, that does go on, but it kind of is trying to basically put on the subconscious a fear that we need to have security services, we need to have police, we need to have armies because of wars and all the rest of it. Where actually we only ever needed all of that because of the system that they created, which basically makes people unequal to everyone else. You know, if you don't have that inequality and everybody's, you know, equal with each other and they've got abundance and they don't then are jealous or anything like that, then you don't have a lot of that crime. You don't have any of that stuff. There will always be some people out there that maybe might be the odd bad apple because things will potentially still carry on. You'll still have some trauma that may happen, unfortunately, at some points, possibly. But as we speak about in GPMS with the energetics and everything being energy and vibration and that rising, actually, we must also trust in our hearts that actually we can get to a place where we can literally eliminate crime and war completely because as you raise that vibration, there's no reason for anybody to experience trauma. There's no reason for mothers of children that are unborn to be in trauma, for that trauma to then obviously go into the unborn child and create a child that might actually have, you know, mental health problems in their early development. You know, so if you actually correct society from that outset position, and there will be a transition, then eventually you can have a new generation of children that are actually literally born, you know, into a perfect world. And that way you're starting the seeds off as you mean them to grow, and they grow up and develop into beautiful people that wouldn't even ever contemplate being evil to anybody else. And so that will happen. So yeah, it's a challenge that we have, we have, but again, you know, it's how we actually deliver our message, and there's always challenges, but wherever there's a problem, as we've determined today, there's always a solution. And so we have it. We have it.
And,
so.
And today I'm sure we've got a lot of solutions, a lot of things to do, and just that it is the good thing with us here as Africa, and basically I should say my country, is that I should appreciate maybe the government in any other aspect, but I think it has not done enough for the case of Africa. Governments have not done enough. Have not actually done what exactly they are meant to be doing. That is the good thing. Yeah, that is the good thing with us here. That just that there's one thing they created in people. They made them believe that nothing can change at all. They are created like that, and their situation is meant to be like that. That is their lifestyle, and they are meant to be raised like that. Generations have to move in that way. That is the thing governments, African governments, have created in people. They have made people believe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
very true for most governments around the world. It's obviously varied in terms of the level of that. But what we really want to also try and help people kind of come to an understanding of is that even these individuals within government, right, that maybe you could easily perceive to be carrying out evil acts because they don't seem to care about the lack and the loss that people have and the suffering people have to experience because they're so well and they potentially have a position where they could change something, but they're not changing it. The problem is
Yeah.
those people, they've been indoctrinated into the same old system, into the old society, and through the education system. So they are victims of the system itself themselves. And so, of course, the system gives birth to this bad practice, this lack of morals, basically, the immorality of things. So, of course, that's why, again, doing what we're doing will create a healing process as well in people. And so, like that will change. But it can't happen via government because it's the backbone of the problem in the first place because they are in control and they could change things, but it has to be the people that collectively come together to make that choice to change it and then see that actually it is possible. It is mindset. It does require a shift and a shift in the paradigm, but we have the power to do it because divinely we have it within us. We have God within us and the divinity is within us and the power comes through our divinity, but our trust in that divinity. And that trust and divinity only comes when we come together as one, because we have to serve each other and want to, help each other and actually create this beautiful world in order to bring back that Garden of Eden. So, yeah, it's always a challenge, but we ride the wave and we get there and we surf it. So yeah, it's all good. So I've got a few minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to chat about, or?
Yeah, I think that is all. Just planning to see tomorrow I can start in the work.
Nice one.
Since tomorrow has been a weekend, yeah. Just I really I'm happy and I'm so happy to see I always share good information with you people and I'm so happy and I should appreciate you for introducing me to many other people so I can get to be known and see how we can share more good information and I'm happy for that. Thank you for always sharing information to see I can be introduced to more white people and thank you so much for that. And the other thing, just tomorrow, I just have to say I have to start on the work to see this can come to success because I actually don't have much stress. Yeah, I have some food for the children to run them 1 week and some 2 days. So I'm actually free and happy.
Oh, that's good. I'm pleased to hear that because you need to be because that happiness and that de-stressing that you're having will help strengthen your immune system. It help you in your well-being generally, and which is what you need to then be able to shine your light to the children and uplift them as well. I mean, just to very very quickly say that unfortunately the one of the things that we have, like you connecting with me and connecting with this beautiful group of people with GPMS that are really good people, is what happens with the old system is that really good people unfortunately are usually they're not ones that are actually very wealthy because to be very wealthy you have to be very selfish. And so,
Definitely.
do you see what I mean? So it's like at the moment you're connecting with some great people, but we're not able to physically help you in the way that we would love to. If we could, if we had the money, we would obviously help you immediately and give you more and more money. It's almost like a divine thing, with Jesus. The story obviously shows that Jesus walked without money. He would walk and he would basically share his message. He would gather disciples, but he would not have any money. But he would survive and live because God would give him everything that he needed to live on as he needed it. And also to those that listened to him, he took a fish and he fed like 200 people with one fish. Essentially, those people were listening to Jesus and they were walking in the path of Christ in that sense. But they were also going to be people that weren't focused on the money, on the material. They were focused on the spirituality and on the connection and what we're here to do. And that's where the kind of deep meaning is really written in the Bible. Is like, unfortunately, we need help now, obviously, as we go through this life at the moment with the material world that we live in, which we're going to break through out of. But of course, we have to have trust in God and know that we will have everything that we need given. And with trust, although it can be a bit of a challenge sometimes still because things happen, that can kind of, almost make us concerned that God won't deliver. He always does. Not necessarily when we already immediately ask it, but I think we have to just compound our belief and our trust in him, and then he will deliver it more quickly and eagerly to us when we need it, because it's all about, our trust in our own divinity and our connection with divinity, really. So yeah, that's just a little message, coming through. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
No worries, brother. And yeah, it's all good. And I'll chat to you again tomorrow. Oh, one thing I wanted to share very quickly. I spoke to Rick obviously about doing any kind of meetings. I mean, doing it how we've discussed anyway might not be quite so necessary in the short term anyway. But he did say for him to be available, the best thing to do is if we set a specific date ahead of time. So whether it's on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Saturday or whatever, but ahead of date, then we can actually if we've got that time and date scheduled, and you can gather people to that time and be with them, and they've got devices. That's how we can get more easily, Rick to hand, as we did today, because I obviously kind of prepped it a bit with obviously Dean, and then I didn't even realize Dean was actually literally with Rick and with Lee. I didn't realize he was with them, but of course it makes it easier when we've got a specific time and a day planned, and then they can just be available. They can make themselves. We try and do it on the day before or something like that. It makes it a bit harder to organize.
Yeah.
So try and do that if you want to do that. So we can just, if you want to set up a specific time going forward, it might be like we say, where we have people that have learned a little bit about it. Maybe they've given their agreement already, but they want to hear more from us, just because they're interested and they want to get more involved. Then obviously we can have a scheduled call which will occur every week or whenever to do that. Cool. All right, man. Yeah. I'll let you go. It's been a pleasure seeing you as always, and lots of love, gratitude.
All right.
Catch you tomorrow, brother.
All right. Love you. All right.
Take care, bro.
All right. Take care. Good night, bro.